like to call this meeting to order of the Sustainability Advisory Board on Monday, December 5th at 6 o'clock. I see there will be no public comment tonight. Approval of minutes is next on the agenda. Would anybody like to make a motion to
I would
approve?
move for approval of the minutes of October 3rd, 2016.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I would like to move number 5 up to the number 4 spot, if there are no objections, and take the urban beekeeping ordinance approval before looking at our board advisory goals. Is that okay with everyone?
Fine.
Okay,
Excuse me, fine.
let's look at the beekeeping ordinance then. We did see this last month, and what we're hoping now is that with the changes that have been made on this, that we think it's ready to go to the council for approval.
The only one that and I didn't catch it a couple other times I read it, was section D6. Permit may be revoked if, standards of practice are not maintained subsequent to issue of a beekeeping permit. The permit may be revoked. Do we want to read that to shall be revoked?
Sure.
Because if they're not meeting the requirements of it, that basically says, well, we may let you, you're not meeting the rules, but we might let you. So I would just make that notation.
That makes sense. Did everybody have a chance to look this over? I assume you did. Was there anything else that anyone saw? Okay then, I would entertain a motion to accept the urban beekeeping ordinance as revised in number D6 to read, the permit shall be revoked by the city. If anybody wanted to move that, they could.
I would move for the approval as amended.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, that was easy. Let's move on to another. I need that easy button. Yeah. Okay, then we wanted to look at our 2017 Sustainability Advisory Board goals. And again, this went out early, so I believe everybody had a chance to see it. I guess one first question I have is, are there any additions to this? Anything that we missed last month that we think we'd like to work on next year? And I believe that I had one that we were going to add. The transportation, yes. That's under government action, I'm sure. I don't know exactly how to word it. Basically, we wanted to see if we could have the opportunity to weigh in on sustainability involving the bus transportation before any purchase is made.
I would not support that. The reason being is that we get grant funding for buses, and our grant funding is often determines what type of buses we purchase.
Well, if we don't have the conversation with the transportation director, we're not going to understand what the rationale is behind it. If you remember when James Robbie came in and was able to explain to us why some of the other things that we've recommended were not doable by the city, even though they would be sustainable, it really helped us to know what direction we should go in.
All right, well, that's basically that's the issue. That's why that's why we're not purchasing hybrids.
Well, I have requested, I didn't say hybrids, I said sustainable. It's not necessarily hybrids, there are other options too.
No, I understand, but there's...
Yeah. And so I just wanted to have a conversation with him and find out, share some information and find out exactly what his reasons are for the direction that he's going. Do you know when they plan to purchase, Tom?
I think there's several in this particular budget cycle.
I think so too.
I don't know when that purchase will be done.
Okay.
But
And you're
again,
saying the funding is dependent on diesel fuel?
No, is that there's funding that comes through from the federal government, which
Right.
basically dictates the type of vehicles that we can purchase.
Okay, well, he will have all that information and be able to share that with us so
that
that
would
we
be
have a
Jim
better
Collins, yeah.
understanding
So we
of
could
what
put
it
that
is.
actually, that could be more of just an agenda item at some point, as opposed to actually action.
I thought we were gonna have that, I have in my notes from November that we were gonna have the bus director talk about the bus status and the direction that they were gonna go. So we
Yeah,
can just put that forward.
Marty had requested that, and so I scheduled a meeting with Jim Collins and Dave Bickman from Go Transit to discuss some of the questions that were raised, and if it's determined, we can do a presentation.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we wanted to see what we could learn or share. Was there anything else that anyone would like to add, delete, alter, or otherwise change for our goals for next year?
I don't know, of course, I'm always gonna say, look for opportunities to support the Shoreline Restoration, but obviously, that's something that's a little bit more personal. But I think it's something that did come from the Sustainability Advisory Board, and this is the final year of the current pilot project. So we'll be looking next fall for support from different places. And possibly having, I know we were going to have a work day, possibly by the Sustainability Advisory Board, but that didn't work out this past year. So maybe if we have it as an agenda item in March or something, we could, you know, maybe be another one of those things that's a future agenda item that we can just discuss ways that we can support that particular.
Well, and if we have it as one of our action items, we do tend to get the information on the agenda so that we can discuss it.
We don't
I
forget
agree.
about it.
Yeah, let's
It's
put it
kind
on
of,
there.
You know,
It'll be under education and outreach, like
Yep.
the Shoreline Work Day or whatever.
Yeah.
I think last year it was just, there wasn't any interest in volunteering.
Well, and I
It's
think
kinda-
that I'm with a couple of different groups that I know wanted to work there, so I don't remember if it was this group, but by the time we came up with a date, it was already filled by another group, right?
Yeah, it was one of those things, we had it as an agenda item, it might have gotten delayed because there was some time like in July that we didn't have a meeting and different things like that, so it kept getting pushed back, and by the time we actually met about it, those dates had passed. So I think if we start out early and look for, you know, a day a little bit more ahead of time, we can make that a more of a success this next season.
Yeah, we'd like a day where there's no snow, no rain, and it's not too hot. Yeah, and can you let us know that in advance, right?
No problem.
I wanted
What
to
about
check.
this action item, review status of sustainability plan? Reviewing the status means looking at, see if we're meeting the goals, or does it mean determining if it needs to be updated?
I think
Same
we were,
goals.
yeah, both, but we were thinking that it's been long enough that it probably, that there's a possibility that there will be updates that we might want to suggest to it. So it was basically to do both. We can cross off some items, but a lot of items. But there may be things that new technology or whatever has made more viable now than it was when we wrote it too. Do you know how long ago we started that? It's time.
I know, and if you look at sustainability plans that are being written now, they have a whole different approach that's more toward ethics and diversity, things we didn't even consider when we did our sustainability plan.
Probably is time for an update.
And I think it was approved in 2012, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And so
And
it's
we had
not a
started
big
on
deal.
it like 3 years before
Right,
that,
right.
so.
But it's
It's
nice to get a
aging.
5-year update, I think.
I
So
think
we
so
could have
too.
that, you know, for 2018, we could, you know. do that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else anyone sees or doesn't see on here? The meeting that we had the other day,
The sustainable communities.
Is that following under 3? Not really.
Under which one?
I wondered if it was under government action number 3. It's not, because it's,
Oh,
Well,
the PACE program?
yeah, the business part of it
Yeah.
would be under citywide.
I think that that would be a good addition to maybe advocate or provide some support to encourage the county to participate.
Mm-hmm. Do you see that as government action or education and outreach?
Government action.
Okay. I could also make the argument that under outreach it would go to businesses, but gotta do one thing at a time here. Okay, so PACE program we're adding.
And under the recommend joining Wisconsin Green Tier, why are we pushing that way off till March?
Well, our January meeting falls on a holiday, so we won't meet in January. I figured in February we would present the information, and then March we would adopt or
Okay.
recommend. So that's kind of where my head was at with that.
In item number 4, under action items and education and outreach, is that kind of collaboration between UWO and city, talking about the stuff that the city's doing with UWO and UWO is doing with the city, or what? Is that
Yeah.
kind of the thought? Okay.
Yeah,
Just wanna make sure.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's exactly what we meant by that, Michelle.
Okay.
Thank you for explaining that.
Right.
Okay, I guess, do you see anything we're missing here, Robert, or is it good to you?
No. The only thing I noted is the education and outreach under 6, Brain Barrel Workshop in December.
Just to complete it.
Yeah, we don't have it in
Okay,
December.
all right, okay, it just,
Hopefully it'll be more like April and July or something.
yeah, that just was the only thing. that
Yeah.
I noted. It's like, I don't think it's
Let's
going
make
to
a
rain
rain
much
barrel in
in
December.
December, so. All right,
Make it and store it.
Okay, then, we
The other
have,
thing I wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
mention is the city did receive a grant from the department, or DNR, for urban forestry. And it's something that I think SAB would be interested in supporting implementation of that grant. It'll involve some education and outreach to public individuals, so they would be able to participate in some workshops and then receive a tree that they would plant on their private property.
yeah.
So I think it's something that maybe the Sustainability Advisory Board would want to be involved with moving forward. The purpose is diversification of the urban tree canopy and education on ash borer. So I think that might be something that.
Under education and outreach.
You guys are hot off the presses, learning about this.
Put it down as tree yet, that would be about right, huh? What else have we missed?
And so the DNR funds, just to clarify, that's for private properties for people?
Both, it's for public and private, so we'll be planting public trees, and then participants of the workshop would also be receiving a tree for their private property.
And something that'd be free through the grant?
Yeah.
Lizzie, can you explain education and outreach number 7 a little bit for me?
That was resulting from the urban agriculture student project from last semester, where they provided some guidance on how to utilize a city-owned property for like a community garden or
That's what I thought it was, I just wanted to be sure.
yeah, it should probably be reworded a little more clearly.
Well, it's kind of like you ran out of space,
I
we
did.
just need to keep
Yeah.
going there, Okay, Tom, you see anything else?
I think it's good.
Okay. Robert, Jan, Michelle? Yeah? Okay, if this is looking good with the 4 additions we've made, we're going to entertain a motion to adopt it.
I so move.
Got a second?
All in favor of adoption?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Excuse me.
thank you. Now we know what we're doing next year. It's gonna be so fun. Okay, then we have agenda items for future meetings. And actually, we have no meeting in January, so our next meeting is February 6th. And we already have,
Quite a few things on our
it's
agenda.
pretty full already for that.
So, in February, we would be looking for an update on the Terrace Street ordinance and the inventory of electric vehicle infrastructure. So I'm looking at both Robert and Marty because your name are,
Just happens to be on that, yeah.
Yep. And then also the Terrace Street ordinance, that was gonna be Michelle, Jan, and Lurton. You were gonna be touching base. So if you want me to schedule a meeting with Parks, let me know, and I'd be happy to, is that something you'd like me to do between now and February, is schedule a meeting? Just to kind of get an update on that?
Sure, and if we could get more information, I think, about the grant, about the trees, you know, it's maybe something that we could
Yeah, piggyback on.
kind of,
Coordinate.
yeah, merge together.
Okay.
And then we were gonna have a presentation on the green tier.
Yeah, and we're gonna look at green tier as well.
Could the meeting for the Terrace Street ordinance, could that be after January 20th?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And is there a time of day that works better for you, Michelle? Like after 4:30 or something?
Yeah, I work till 4:30 typically, so after that time, or otherwise.
I know
can try
that's
to
more difficult, so-
Sneak out at lunch or something, or early morning, but,
But you said after January 20th?
yep,
Okay.
if possible.
Okay.
At least mid to late January, that's fine.
Anything else? I think we were also going to be looking at the website in February.
I looked at it today.
Okay.
So where it says under education and outreach, finalize native plant brochure.
Yes, it says Jan and Margie, and we've got 3
Right,
whole
then it
months.
says March to finalize it, so would it go on the agenda then the month before? Is that to review it, right?
Yeah, and we can send that out so everybody has a chance to see it beforehand, before the meeting, so they can look it over.
So we have a busy agenda in February.
Yes, we must all plan to attend. Okay, so, native plant brochures. All right, is there anything anybody else wants to share?
Can I just share one little event item?
Yes.
It's gonna be happening here at City Hall tomorrow at 10 a.m. There's an environmental studies senior seminar class that worked with the city to do some research into shoreline restoration. So that's tomorrow, December 6th, Tuesday, 10 a.m., City Hall, room 404. If anyone would like to attend, it's open to the public.
Thank you.
There's my little plug.
Little commercial there, yes.
Right?
And of course, we'd like to remind everyone in the world that, everybody who is a City of Oshkosh resident, that if they are interested in being a member of the Sustainability Advisory Board, they can go to the website and make an application there, or they can make one at City Hall. And we would love to have some applications come in for our board.
Or any of the other boards and commissions in the city as well.
We would encourage much more community participation than we currently have, yes.
That is true.
Yes. All right, anything else, anybody? No?
I would move to adjourn.
Second?
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Merry Christmas, everybody.